On a cold December morning in 1991, Scandinavian Airlines Flight 751 sat on the tarmac in Stockholm, ready for its journey. The air was crisp, hovering just around freezing. Inside the warm cabin, 129 passengers and crew settled in, completely unaware of a hidden danger forming on the wings. Overnight, the super-chilled fuel inside the wing tanks had turned the moist air into a thin, transparent layer of ice. This wasn't the usual white frost you can easily see and remove. This was clear ice, a nearly invisible enemy that clung to the aircraft's upper wing surfaces. It was a perfect trap waiting to be sprung. The ground crew did their job, spraying the aircraft with de-icing fluid. But because the ice was so hard to see, they missed it. No one knew it was there. With the pre-flight checks complete, the mighty McDonnell Douglas MD-81 was cleared for takeoff. The pilots, Captain Stefan Rasmussen and First Officer Ulf Cedermark, pushed the throttles forward. The powerful engines roared to life, and the plane surged down the runway, lifting gracefully into the winter sky. For a few brief moments, everything was normal. The aircraft was climbing, the passengers were looking out the windows, and the crew was focused on their tasks. Nature, however, had set the stage for a catastrophic failure. Just 25 seconds after leaving the ground, as the plane climbed, the airflow over the wings began to change. The smooth metal was now a rough, icy surface. Chunks of this clear ice, dislodged by the force of the air, broke free from the wings. Instead of harmlessly falling away, they were sucked directly into the gaping mouths of both engines mounted at the rear of the plane. It was the worst possible scenario. The engines were not designed to swallow solid ice. The delicate fan blades inside, spinning at incredible speeds, were about to be hit by a barrage of frozen projectiles, setting off a chain reaction that would threaten every single life on board. The pilots heard a series of loud bangs and felt violent vibrations shudder through the aircraft. It was the sound of the engines tearing themselves apart from the inside. The ice had shattered the fan blades, causing the engines to surge and choke. The crew immediately tried to reduce power to stop the damage, but an automated system they didn't know about, the automatic thrust restoration, fought against them. It sensed the power loss and pushed the throttles back up, making the surges even worse. Just 78 seconds into the flight, both engines failed completely. The roaring sound was replaced by an eerie, terrifying silence. The plane was now a 64-ton glider, falling from the sky. In the cockpit, chaos turned into focused determination. With both engines dead, Captain Rasmussen was faced with an impossible task: fly a massive jetliner with no power. His survival instincts took over. His first move was critical. He pushed the nose of the plane down to maintain airspeed. If he pulled up, the aircraft would slow down, stall, and fall uncontrollably from the sky. It was a race against gravity and time. They were at an altitude of just 3,220 feet, and the ground was coming up fast. Every second counted. He had to keep the plane flying while searching for a place to land. Out of nowhere, help appeared. An off-duty SAS captain, Per Holmberg, was on the flight as a passenger. Hearing the commotion, he knew something was terribly wrong. He unbuckled his seatbelt and made his way to the cockpit, offering his assistance. The crew immediately welcomed him, with Holmberg helping to run checklists and manage the failing systems. Rasmussen and Cedermark could focus entirely on flying the crippled aircraft. This is a classic example of crew resource management, using every available person to solve a problem. In this life-or-death situation, teamwork was their most powerful weapon. They were a team fighting for survival. The pilots had to make a decision, and they had to make it now. Returning to the airport was impossible. They didn't have the altitude or the power to make it back. Their only option was to find a place to land straight ahead. They were flying through a thick layer of clouds, completely blind to the terrain below. They had no idea if they were heading towards a forest, a town, or an open field. It was a terrifying gamble. Captain Rasmussen had to trust his training and his gut. He expertly maneuvered the silent aircraft, preparing for a forced landing in an unknown location. Breaking through the cloud base at just 890 feet, they finally saw the ground. Below them was a snow-covered landscape dotted with dense patches of Swedish forest. It was a hostile environment for landing a plane. But then, Rasmussen spotted it. A small, flat field near the village of Gottröra. It wasn't a runway, but it was their only chance. He had to thread the needle, guiding the giant glider between the trees to reach that tiny patch of open ground. He aimed the aircraft, lining it up for a final desperate approach. The fate of everyone on board rested on his skill and courage in these final moments. While the pilots fought for control in the cockpit, the flight attendants in the cabin faced their own battle. They had to prepare 123 passengers for a crash landing. They heard the engine failures and felt the violent shuddering. They knew this was the real deal. With calm professionalism, they moved through the cabin, their voices steady and reassuring despite the fear they must have felt. They instructed everyone to remove sharp objects, take off their glasses, and most importantly, assume the brace position. This simple instruction would be the key to survival for so many. The brace position is a lifesaver. By leaning forward, with your head down and hands protecting your neck, you turn your body into a more compact, resilient shape. This protects your vital organs and head from the violent forces of an impact. The flight attendants demonstrated the position and made sure every single passenger understood what to do. Their courage in the face of imminent danger prevented panic from spreading. Instead, a sense of unity filled the cabin. Passengers helped each other, holding hands and offering words of comfort. They were all in this together, facing the unknown as one. The seconds stretched into an eternity. Through the windows, passengers could see the trees rushing towards them. This was the moment of truth. The flight attendants shouted their final commands. "Brace! Brace! Brace!" Their voices cut through the tense silence, a final reminder of the training that was about to save lives. Everyone on board tucked down, preparing for the inevitable collision. They put their faith in the crew, in the brace position, and in the hope that they might just survive what was coming. It was a testament to the power of clear communication and training. This incredible teamwork between the cockpit and the cabin crew is what makes the story of Flight 751 so inspiring. While the pilots flew the plane, the flight attendants prepared the passengers. Each had a critical role to play, and they performed it flawlessly. It shows that in a crisis, everyone has a part to play. The flight attendants were not just serving drinks, they were trained safety professionals. On that day, their training and bravery made the difference between a tragedy and a miracle. They were the unsung heroes who ensured everyone was ready for impact. Captain Rasmussen lined up the silent jet with the field, but a wall of trees stood in their path. There was no way to avoid them. The aircraft smashed through the treetops, and the impact sheared off a large section of the right wing. This was actually a stroke of luck. It slowed the plane down significantly just before it hit the ground. The MD-81 slammed onto the snowy field, tail first. It slid for 110 meters, the immense force of the landing causing the fuselage to break into 3 separate pieces. It was a violent, destructive crash. But then something incredible happened. There was no fire. The wings had been torn open, but the cold temperatures and snow-covered ground prevented the spilled jet fuel from igniting. When the wreckage finally came to a stop, an astonishing reality set in. Amidst the twisted metal and broken fuselage, people began to move. One by one, passengers and crew unbuckled their seatbelts and climbed out into the snow. Some had injuries. 25 people were hurt, 2 of them seriously, but not a single person had died. Every single one of the 129 souls on board had survived. It was truly the miracle at Gottröra. The investigation that followed uncovered the root causes of the accident. It confirmed that undetected clear ice was the primary culprit, but it also revealed crucial gaps in training and knowledge. The pilots had never been trained to handle the specific type of engine surge they experienced. More importantly, they were completely unaware of the automated ATR system that had worked against their commands and sealed the engine's fate. This highlighted a dangerous disconnect between pilots and the increasingly complex automated systems in modern aircraft, a lesson that would echo decades later. The legacy of Flight 751 is written in today's aviation safety protocols. The incident led to a complete overhaul of de-icing procedures worldwide, with new methods developed to detect and eliminate clear ice. Pilot training was updated to include simulator sessions on how to handle severe engine surges. Aircraft manufacturers were pushed to improve communication about how their automated systems work, ensuring pilots are always in command. The story of Flight 751 is more than just a tale of survival against the odds. It is a powerful reminder that from the brink of disaster can come profound lessons that make our world safer for everyone.